Let's go.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our Culture Speaks podcast. We are on episode 6, and today's episode is going to be so awesome. Let me just let you know who I'm here with. I'm here with my co host, the love of my life, Beyond Charm.
Wait. What was you were sort of say? Oh yeah, my boyfriend, and then you were like, "Oh, yeah,
I was like, I
my
should probably
co-host."
put some put some respect on that title.
Oh God.
Yes. So, man, I have a lot on my heart today. So much is on my heart to share with you guys. The first thing I want to say is don't trust your partner because when he says that everything is okay, you should run for the hills. On Wednesday at approximately 9 p.m., Wednesday evening, 9 p.m., my co host told me that we are going to record our episode. It's going to be a late night episode. We're going to have a lot of fun, speak what's on our mind, let the people know what's going on. And I got so hyped, and we recorded an amazing episode for you guys. And I said, everything's good. He said, yes, everything is great. At approximately 10 a.m. Friday morning, he then turns to me and says, Jazz, I have some bad news. The episode we recorded on Wednesday, there's technical difficulties. So now we need to come up with a new episode and just record. So when your partner tells you everything is okay, please have some doubt. Question him. Run for the hills. Do you have anything to say, person?
No, I mean everything was okay until it's not.
So this will be the last time that I trust you telling me that the episode has been successfully recorded. From now on, I'm gonna put my producer hat on and make sure the sound quality is good and the mics are working and there's nothing in the background disrupting us. And I am officially taking a different role in our podcast. But today's episode, we just gonna keep it, I don't know, keep it light and really talk about things that we haven't really got into, you know. So the first thing I want to really mention to everybody is how we got the idea for the podcast. We're on episode 6, and I'm looking back on our episodes and I'm like, yo, did we even tell people how we came up with this idea? Because lately I've been seeing a lot of celebrities. Y'all don't need no money, y'all don't need nothing, but they have podcasts. And I'm just like, what makes our podcast different from other people? Do you have any like input on that, B?
Yeah, I mean I mean I wasn't. I want to be honest. I wasn't thinking about no pay, no nothing when I decided, you know what, let's put this to work. Because you were talking about it, and the moment you say something about podcast, because I was already streaming a game live anyway, so I was like, you know what, that's actually a good idea. So it won't be. I already got like the some of the equipments for something like podcast. All we have to do is get another mic, and then we sit down, we talk, we just, say what's on our mind. And I wasn't thinking about, oh yeah, I want to be popular, or I didn't even care if somebody listened to us, but now it's actually kind of good that people are listening to us and they're actually saying something.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Now there's no turning back. Now it's like you miss an episode and you have a couple people message you like, "What's going on?" and you don't know what to say. But here's how I remember us coming up with podcasts. It was what, 2 in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning. We were out of town at my cousin's. and we went for some late night tacos. And that's my favorite meal. For y'all who don't know, like, I'm all about tacos. So it's 2 a.m. in the morning. We're in the backseat of the car. We just got some fresh tacos. At this point, I'm hyped up. You know what I mean? Like, nothing can ruin this moment. I will say just about yes to anything because I am at peace. And beyond mention, you know what? I'm gonna start a podcast. So I say, we can call it Culture Speaks. I don't know where. I think I don't know where that idea came to mind, but I was like, let's call it Culture Speaks. And as far as I thought, that would be the end of the idea. Because we say how many things. We say we're gonna start this channel, that channel. We're gonna start a business. We're gonna start a cooking, whatever. We come up with so many ideas and we never act on it. So this time I'm like, yeah, we're gonna call it Culture Speaks because you have a culture, I have a culture. So there wasn't really any deep thoughts and anything like that. There was no, oh well, what are we gonna talk about? Like, we didn't even have that. We didn't have no episodes planned. We didn't have no topics planned. We had like what, one mic,
Yeah.
so it was just like, probably not a realistic idea. But the next day, I think when we returned home, you were like, okay, I downloaded this editing software and we're gonna record. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is real. Because I'm looking at all these celebrities and I'm like, why would anyone want to listen to us? To random people, random man from Ethiopia, random girl from Dominica. What exactly can we share that people haven't already heard? But I'm just like, you know our personality is a big part of what we've of the episodes that we've created so far. And I didn't think anyone would listen. And now we're averaging about what, 50, 60 people per episode listening to us, and that's kind of insane. Because in reality, I would not stand and speak in front, no, 50, 60. One of our episodes had about 100 views. I would not stand in front of these people and say the things that I feel brave to say in my podcast.
For
So,
real.
yeah. Yeah, do you have anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, actually, I feel I feel pretty good and like on our first episode, even though
Accomplished.
yeah, even though the very first episode didn't make it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I feel pretty good, and I was like, you know what? Actually, I feel like my opinion do matter out there. People willing
Mm-hmm.
to like coming and listening to me saying whatever is on my mind, and people are actually responding because I've seen a couple comments and people texting me personally like, yo, this and that, this and that,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, okay, well. So a lot of people do like a lot of people do listen to me, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's really like every what it's crazy part when I went to soccer over there at the school.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody called me, oh, Mr. Podcast. I was like, wait, I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Like, yeah, so y'all here know about me, eh? So I was
Yeah.
hyped at that moment. I was like, yeah, I'm I'm feeling I'm feeling popular out here right
Feeling,
now.
yeah, you're feeling big. Huh? But yeah, that's really cool. And for those who hasn't haven't listened to our episodes, you know feel free to go back and listen to them and just get a sense of what this channel is about, and be sure to like and subscribe. So what I want to mention right now is um some of the challenges of our podcast, because this thing is not easy. I've never listened to a podcast before. I'm not going to lie. I have never, ever sat down and listened to a podcast. I just know it was just two people talking. So when you mentioned it, I was like, shh, I be talking. I can talk. I love to talk. So why not? But I've never listened to a podcast. So I've never seen, that it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, and there's a bunch of challenges. Can you let the people know maybe some of the challenges that have occurred since putting out these episodes?
Yeah, we got a bunch of episodes that been recorded and then make it because of because
Because
of technical
of
difficulties. So it's like
uh
it's really tough. And plus coming out with topics because we did not plan this. We like she said, one day we woke up like, yo, let's make a podcast, and then that's it. Nobody planned it, and now we have to come up with topics every week. So that's the hard part. That's the second hard part.
hmm
So, but yeah.
so and this is our first time with me and you working on a project together. So let's talk about how we kind of balance us and our podcasts in our relationship, because there are some topics I want to mention on our podcast and you kind of disagree, don't you? Right?
Yeah. I mean, I know I told y'all yeah, y'all gonna know about everything. We're gonna come here and speak our minds, but I don't want y'all to know too much about me.
Mm-hmm.
And the more we put it out there, the more people put their 2 cents in it. And it's not that I don't want you. I'm kind of scared to put it out there because
Mm-hmm.
I've seen what it do to people when you put your life out there like that. So
But I'm such a toxic person. I'm like, what? You don't want your side chick to know that you got a podcast with your main girl? What? But no, but what you pretty much saying is you don't want your relationship and so many details of our relationship out there. But at the same time, where I'm coming from is our relationship plays a big part in certain topics that we want to share you know if we're talking about food, I might want to mention the last meal that you cooked for me and how it was and and that's going into our relationship. So it's been, I feel like one of the challenges is that it's been very hard balancing podcast things and relationship things, because we don't want this entire podcast to just be about life with Jasmine and beyond, personal relationship. No, we want to talk about, some serious stuff, and sometimes we want to joke around. Um, but yeah, so what
yeah,
what what has your favorite episode been thus far?
my favorite episode, I think it's gonna be the mental health, the with the
Really?
yeah. Because that one kind of like that one was deep. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
That one was a little
Mm-hmm.
deep. So yeah, I think I like that one a lot. And the second
Yeah.
one would be the cultural differences.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's yeah. But yeah, my the mental health would be up top.
That's really good because um it's okay. So let's put it like this: it's not our best in terms of numbers and views, and it wasn't our best
Man of view, yeah.
episode in regards to the stats of it, the performance of it. So
Yeah.
I'm just so surprised that the mental health episode was your favorite. My favorite episode, honestly, I'm stuck between two. Our first episode, when we were like, I think the title of that was like moving in together. And we got so much feedback. My gosh. At one point, I was like, maybe we shouldn't move
uh
in together.
yeah.
I'm like, oh shoot, Beyond was right. Maybe we shouldn't have shared, like,
Yeah.
because people were like, make sure you get 2 bedrooms. Do not move in if you don't get a ring. And at this point, I started getting scared. I'm like, man, I don't think we're gonna make it when we move in together in the future. I'm like, oh, what if I don't get a ring? Should I still move in? Like, I'm started to question all these kind of things. And um I guess my next episode that I enjoyed was the red flags in friendship. um I love that episode because we never really talk about our own social life. Like you have your own separate social life, and I have my own separate social life. And we never seriously talked about, like, hey, um, this is how I feel about when you go out on Thursdays with your boys. And, sometimes I don't feel like, maybe some of your friends might not truly have your best of interest in mind. And then there's some that have your best of interest in mind. So I just want to make sure you know who's who, So that was a really good episode because we've never seriously talked about it. We maybe argued about it before because,
Yeah,
I want you in my eyes at all times, but we never really had a deep conversation about it. So those two episodes was definitely like favorite for sure. Um, what I want to say next is what I want to talk about now is how do we engage with our listeners?
well, I'm I'm doing everything I can. Like all the time, after every episode, we tell them, hey, add us on Instagram and text us and
Mm-hmm.
see like what's on your mind. Just let us know. Like you can be thinking about something that would be good, some topic that would be good to be talked about on the podcast. Just let us know. We are
Mm-hmm.
gonna see if it is like if it's worth talking about it. I mean, everything worth talking about, but
Mm-hmm.
also again, just like the mental health, we have to watch out so you don't trigger nobody,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
you don't get somebody mad and they're coming for you. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so
I love. Sorry, go ahead.
for me, I feel like we're doing everything we can to
Mm-hmm.
like to for them to like talk to us, and yeah.
I love how you mentioned the word triggers, because let's really talk about some triggers over here. Hmm? Well, and I'll let you. What do you think are my triggers in terms of, like, what do you think would trigger me to get upset? Don't be
Mm,
afraid to tell the people.
me going
Now's your
out,
chance.
me going
You
out.
going out. You going out is my trigger.
Yeah. Me saying no.
So how do you? No, you saying no. What does that mean when you say no?
Me saying no to every little shit you want. Every little thing you want is a trigger. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
give them a more in depth of what you would say no to that would trigger me. Is it Chipotle?
Oh, babe, I want some ice cream. And then I say no because I want to go to Brahms ice cream. I say no because I seen a Brom ice cream in the freezer.
But it's
Why
not
why you
fresh
why you
ice cream.
why you wanna go to eat? So why we waste the money buying Brahms if you're just gonna come home and just put it in the fridge and let it freeze and then ask for another
I
one later on.
I don't want stale ice cream. I don't want ice cream that's been
But you're
sitting in
not
the
eating
freezer.
it. You're not
I
eating
want
it.
fresh Brahms ice cream.
The reason,
So it triggers me. No, let me really talk about my trigger when you say no. It triggers me when you have a loyal woman, hard-working, independent woman, and all she asks is for ice cream, and you say no. That's a slap to the face.
first of all, the reason that
Because,
ice cream in the freezer right there is because you're not eating it. So why get something you're not gonna eat?
but it gives me a sense of security knowing that I have access to it.
Well, that's a no. That's a no.
And okay, well, yeah, I'll stick up to my trigger. Yes, saying no to me is definitely a trigger because why say no when it's easier to say yes? Hmm?
But why say
But
yes?
the other one you mentioned is what was it?
Me ain't going out.
Going out. Yeah. Going out is a trigger for sure. Because why go out when you have me at home?
No, first of
That's
all,
you can have fun with me. We can
yes,
watch movies.
yes, I
We
know
can
you're
watch
triggered.
movies.
Here
We
not
can
here.
cook. We can listen to music. So why go out? Why go out with with people who will not support you how I support you?
Yeah,
Hmm?
right. This how I know your trigger. What time you going out? Who you going out with? Who's gonna be there? Us boys, we say we go out. We don't ask who's gonna be there.
But
But
it's simple mathematics.
no, babe, we
Who,
don't. We
what,
don't.
who, what, where, when, and how.
We don't
Who
do
are
that.
you going with?
We don't.
Therefore, if something happened and cops come to my door and they say, "Who was he with?" I can answer that.
Let's say
Where?
one of my friends said,
Should
"Oh,
you no, let me finish, because
okay."
should you disappear and the police ask me, where were you? I have no idea. So who, where, when? So what time are you leaving? Are you leaving before dinner, after dinner? Are you leaving, late night, early evening? Just so I know I can prepare myself mentally for your absence.
Okay,
What's the other one? Who, what, where, when? I think I
when you
talked
come
about that
back.
already.
When you come back.
When is you coming back?
I don't know.
Do not
I
walk
don't
in, do
know.
not walk into my home. Do not leave on a Friday evening and come back on a Saturday morning. You understand?
But here's the thing. Us boys, let's say one of my friends hit me up and said, "Oh, yo, we going out tonight?"
Mm.
And I said, "Yes." I'm not gonna ask who's gonna be there. All
Black
I know
people
is
ask.
I'm going.
Black people ask. Black
Uh,
people say, "Who all gonna be there?" That's a fact.
Here's the thing: people who ask are the people who like. Because I know female ask because they don't want to be around some certain females, certain
Mm-hmm.
girls. They ask,
Mm.
but me, I don't have a problem with somebody. We could be hating each other right now. I sit there and I sit here on this side doing my thing. You can sit there over there
Mm.
doing my thing. It's not gonna bother me. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
personally, I don't ask who's gonna be there because I don't care who's gonna be there. Because at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, if I agree, oh, I'm going out, it's not gonna be under the condition of if somebody I don't like gonna be there or not. It
Mm-hmm.
is if I say I'm going out, we going out.
But then I look at it as, because a lot of your friends are in relationships, and I look at it as, well, if they all bring in their girlfriend, then your girlfriend can gladly tag along. And then later on, I find out, okay, none of them brought their girlfriend. Obviously, I don't want to be the only, girlfriend there. So that's why I asked, like, who is tagging along? And then it'll let me know, okay, if it's a boys' night, it's a boys' night. So best believe I ain't seeing no females hanging around. So I'm just making sure we on the same path. Now, do you have anything else to say before I shine the spotlight to you and your triggers?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, because my triggers is common amongst females, right? I don't think there's females out there that would really disagree with my triggers. I do, some, but I know other females in my circle that has, I guess my same triggers. But let's talk about your triggers, my boy. Your trigger is, what is your trigger actually? Let me. Your trigger is, you get
I,
upset when we disagree.
I get upset when I see that we arguing and I don't see the point, and
For
also
okay, so let me word it better. Arguments are your triggers,
yeah.
and that's impossible to avoid, because all relationship, there's not one relationship on earth that doesn't have an argument. I bet Adam and Eve had an argument.
Again,
Like
we
girl,
can,
like girl, why you eat that apple on that tree, eh?
but
Why you eating
again,
that apple over there?
I,
So I
I,
know Adam and Eve had triggers and
again,
and and arguments. So how can
we
our relationship not have an argument?
again we can argue, but there has to be a point. We can just argue to argue because most of the time I'll be upset because we're not getting nowhere, and I don't see the where that argument started. So it's like, yo, okay, what are we doing right now?
But
you
it's
know.
an argument, which means we don't need to see eye to eye. It's an argument for that's what they call it an argument, is
That's the
because
thing.
we are not on the same page. If we were on the same page, it would be an agreement, not an argument.
Okay, yeah. Let me
You
put. Let
understand?
me.
So as soon as we start to argue and you tell me, Jasmine, the sky is blue, and I say, Beyond, clearly the sky is not blue. I just see you start putting on your shoes, touching your pockets for some keys so you can leave because Jasmine does not think that the sky is blue. But
Again,
I was raised in the environment where no man is gonna not hear my point of view
I
and
am,
see my point of view.
but I
And
am
I can argue till my last dying breath. I can argue till my last dying breath to make my point. However,
again.
you, on the other hand, you're like, nah, we're not gonna argue. Let me give you some space, or let me give myself some space from this. And then once I've had my space, then we can continue like happy butterflies. And I'm like, that's
No,
not how.
it is. Here's how.
Mm,
Here's how. Okay, here's how I grew up. When I
mm,
argue, I don't argue because we have a disagreement.
mm,
I believe to argue towards fixing what brought up the argument in the first place.
mm,
So I have to see point what went wrong, what did how we end up here right now.
mm,
So if I don't see that, I just get frustrated because I can't fix it if I don't see where went wrong and how we supposed to like. Because here's the thing, I believe argument is you can avoid argument, but
can't avoid it.
yeah, but you can learn you can learn to the point where you're not gonna argue about the same situation next time. And
Mm.
that's argue towards fixing it and see what went wrong and how we got there, so you don't argue for on the same thing again. So that's how I get frustrated, because I don't see how, because we could go back and forth all day, but if I don't see how we can move forward and see.
Mm. But do you try to create a way to move forward? Do you
Yeah,
think do you think that you say, okay, Jasmine, so let this can be the solution? You don't take that approach. That's
I don't take that.
real stuff. You don't take the approach of,
Once
okay,
we
if let's just say you spilled a bottle of wine on the floor, and we argue about it, you're not saying, you know what, let's clean up this bottle of wine, and let's do this so that the bottle of wine never falls on the floor again. You don't do that, but that's what I try to do. So I'm trying to say, well, Beyond, if you had put the bottle of wine on the sofa, it wouldn't have fallen on the floor. Or you know what I'm trying to say. Like, I try to create a solution, but you're so heated in the moment that you don't want a solution. So
that's
that
why
what that
that's why
brings
I
that
move
brings me to
away.
that's bring me to the next thing, where when you move away from the argument and you say, you know what, let's not talk about this no more, the next argument is going to come up because we didn't solve the first argument. So then 3-4 years down the line, you find yourself still bringing back up the topic of, hey, you remember when you threw the wine on the floor? So it still comes back up because it was never solved. It was never resolved on both ends. It was never solved. So yeah, maybe that's why we need to have counseling. And we talked about our upcoming episodes where we bring a relationship counselor to this podcast to really tell you that I'm right.
No, because if you're
I
right,
think
you always be
once
right,
they
baby.
figure, once they understand, they're gonna say, overall, they're gonna say, Beyond, you should listen to Jasmine a bit more often
Mm-hmm,
because this
mm-hmm.
girl got her head on.
Right.
This girl got her head on. And I'll kind of wrap it up because it's almost that time. But what do you say outside of podcasting? Because that's not just all that we do. So outside of podcasting, what are some of your hobbies?
Well, soccer, really. Up
Mm-hmm.
so every week, I go to like three. I go to soccer about 2 to 3 times a week. So and also, of course, we got work. We gotta go to work. And another thing
Mm-hmm.
is gaming. I also stream. I don't stream like that anymore, but I still
Mm-hmm.
stream because I mean between work, soccer, all that stuff, class, yeah, that's a lot. So sometimes I don't even stream. I just be sitting there playing game because streaming you have to like sit down and stream for a
Mm-hmm.
couple hours. I can do that. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what about you? What you be doing?
Just giving you my love.
Hmm.
Spending all my time with you. No, outside of the podcast, I like cooking. I don't like to clean all the time, but sometimes I find cleaning therapeutic for when I'm feeling a bit stressed from school and stuff. So I like to, tidy up, cook, watch movies for sure. I'm very big on watching scary movies and, stuff like that, chatting with my friends. I like a biff. I like gossip. So yeah, that's I guess one of my main hobbies would be cooking. So before we go, I just want to tell you guys to make sure you follow us on Instagram at official_culture speaks and follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Culture Speaks. And make sure you guys are also following us on our Spotify account. What's our Spotify be?
Culture speaks.
Culture Speaks. You
Yeah.
see, I let him run everything. I'm like, but yeah. And if there's anybody who wanna sponsor us, just know we are waiting.
Yeah, and
We are
also
waiting.
and also we got some stuff cooking. So I guess it's still on the video thingy. We will try to get on a video for YouTube. So look out for you might see my face pop up on YouTube one of those days. But
Mhm.
yeah, we still working on some little stuff to make it like perfect. So and also we were working on Gust. If we can try to bring some people out here, we're still working on that. But one of those episodes you see somebody out here. But yeah, okay, guys, bye.
Bye.